Thank you, mate. Oh, we're not going to high five. Thank you, Justin. Give a big round of applause for Justin, everybody. How are we going, guys? My name is Cam. It's a pleasure to be here to talk about the customer experience. I am going to introduce our panelists now, guys. We'll get that out of the way too. You ready to do this, guys? You ready to kick on? I think we're nice. We're a nice warmed-up crowd. Yeah. Like I said, it's just a bit of fun. You know, I've even got my questions on my phone, on my lap here. It's very low-key, just a bit of fun and a little bit of information as well. So could we get the applause going, please, and welcome our wonderful panelists. Please welcome Brando from Muso, Christina from Zendesk, and Steph and Cassie from Butter. Big round of applause. Beautiful. Hi, guys.
Hello.
How's it going?
Great.
Feeling all right? Good?
Yeah.
Good.
Listen, do you guys, I think first and foremost, just for this wonderful audience, if you just want to introduce yourselves and tell us where it is that you're from and what it is that you do. Do you guys want to kick it off from this end?
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm Steph. I'm one of the co-founders of Butter.
I'm Cassie. I'm the other co-founder of Butter. Butter is making insurance smooth, simple, and delightful, and taking the pain out of getting policies.
Pretty good. That was the pitch. That's the pitch.
That's the pitch.
So, we got any investors in the room? Kristen?
Yeah. Hi, folks. I'm Kristen Durham. I'm the SVP of the Startups and SMB Business Unit at Zendesk, and we're a company that makes customer support and experience software.
Beautiful. Brandon?
Awesome. Brandon from Muso, based in Melbourne. We're a live entertainment management software, so we work with venue groups, venues, and entertainers. So, yeah.
Wonderful stuff. Great. So to kick things off, I think I want to hear from Steph and Cassie. Your startup, Butter, was actually conceived because of some bad customer experiences of your own. So I think that's a perfect place to begin. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
It was, and I think like most people in this room will have had a pretty shitty experience with insurance in the past. Mine started with a pair of earrings that I broke. They were the most expensive thing that I had at the time. So I was like, I'm going to go get insurance. Went online, found an insurer, filled out a ridiculously, stupidly long questionnaire, hit submit, and it just said, "We will be in touch," which is very ominous.
That sounded very ominous.
Yeah, it was very ominous. And in touch they were. They called me 22 times in 2 days, which was great. And when I finally answered, they said, "Okay, we'll insure your earrings, but the first step is to find a newspaper." What? Find a newspaper. Take a picture of yourself with the newspaper, hold up your earrings with the newspaper, make sure you have the date, then send it to this email. Do you have a pen? We'll wait while you get one, which was just the most ridiculous process I've ever heard of, ever. So that's kind of the inspiration for Butter.
It sounds. What was this insurance company called? Because it sounds like, what are they, the mafia?
Yeah,
like,
basically.
honestly, show us a photograph, meet us at the street corner, don't look Mickey Blue Eyes in the face. Like, that's ridiculous.
And I never found that website again.
Yeah. That's crazy. And what about Brandon? You also conceptualised Muso after a bad experience of your own. What happened to you?
So I used to run a venue down in Melbourne and wanted to put on some festivities and had a lot of live entertainment planned. And yeah, the food was really good. The live entertainment not so, because unfortunately in the build-up in the morning of, every act but one pulled out. So yeah, it was just a catastrophe, and I guess it really opened my eyes about how hard it is for a venue to actually connect with local talent and local entertainers, and just in that gigging space, how difficult it is to match everything up. You know, making sure the entertainers are right fit, they're available. You know, you might go that far and all of a sudden they're $5,000, and that's not going to work for a local venue. So just making that, connection side super easy was a huge passion, and yeah, met with a few of my co-founders, and then just one thing to another, really.
What was it called again? Your festival?
Porkathon.
Strap yourselves into that, guys. Porkathon. When you hear Porkathon, does anyone just not think of a swingers party? Like, honestly, no one would think, hey, I'm going to go see some music and eat some pulled pork.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to an orgy, dude. Like,
Yeah.
Maybe you should have had a rebrand there on the name alone. What was the reason why the musicians pulled out? Was it based on the name or what?
Well, honestly,
scared?
Upon reflection, I wouldn't really blame them, to be honest. But no, there was a whole host of reasons. Couldn't use COVID as an excuse because it was just prior to COVID. But yeah, all sorts of things. Double book my gig, or I'm feeling sick. So yeah, just a whole host of things.
And you had a bunch of food, so people still got to eat.
Yeah, the food we really doubled down on the food because we didn't have a choice. So.
And one muso.
Yeah.
And then you just thought, you know what, things need to change.
Yeah, or it's basically, just negotiate with the muso on the day, how long can you play for? But yeah, off the back of that, I've got a lot of family members that are in the jazz scene, and I said, how do you get a gig? And then from the venue side, it just became apparent that connectivity is so difficult. So yeah, it kind of started off as just a marketplace connecting two sides, and then over time realised, you've got to make the gig successful by bringing in a crowd, so it moved towards marketing and payments and other things as well, so.
Beauty. And Kristen, like you actually, you make customer support software.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
How did that come about? That came about from a collection of horrible customer experiences, I think. When we got started, it was 15 years ago, and technology was horrible, right? Like green screens and things living in a closet, and so we really set out to bring.
Sorry, what? Who lived in a closet?
in a closet.
Was it you were? That bad?
Sometimes, yeah.
So who runs a startup? How many people here are doing a startup and you're living in a closet? Jesus. Are you in a closet?
There we go.
Is that where every startup begins?
Yeah.
In a closet. Okay.
Budget.
Living in a
closeted,
closet, serving the software from a closet, and no, we said there has to be a better way. It has to be online, and so that was the motivation of the company, and we just kept going from there.
Okay, and Steph and Cassie, I do need to know this though. How do you ensure your customers? You had a bad experience feeling harassed. How do you ensure that your customers feel supported and not harassed?
Yeah. Well, I guess we're trying to avoid the whole call center thing and the endless cold calls. So we've been thinking about going down the chatbot path, but actually behind the chatbot will just be Cassie and I.
It's ridiculous.
So it feels really efficient, but
That's a lot of hats to wear. So you're trying to run a business and then just lying to your customers, so then they ask you for help and then you go, hang on a minute, and then go, hello, I'm Poco. I'm here to help you. How are you going to manage that, do you think? That's a fair bit of
I'll
work,
pass
isn't it?
you on to a real person. 1 second. Steph. Hello. How are you going?
Hi.
Yeah, no, but we thought Zendesk was probably a better solution for us. So I'm going with that instead.
Yours would be like, are you a robot? And you're like, fuck no, it's us. That's pretty funny. But Brandon, you were spinning a lot of plates at the start too. You were doing your own customer service too. Do you want to tell us how you managed that?
Yeah, very white gloved. Probably the best story is when we're a little bit short-staffed and a lot of kind of queries will come into my inbox, so I'd pass them on to our central support system, and then on the other side of that was me again. So introducing people to the support team and then me coming in, hi, this is another Brandon, but it was just me.
So I think the takeaway from this is when you're doing your own startup is to catfish your customers. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
From the safety of a cupboard.
Exactly right.
Yeah. Okay. Good-o. Did you find that that's a lot of overhead though from both of you. You're having to do you're doing two jobs at once. How much did that detract from the job at hand and what you needed to do?
It was. Some people just didn't even recognise because they just want a problem solved. But then some were just like, "Is this the same Brandon?" And I'd be like, "It might be." I kind of had fun with a couple of them.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Good.
You had to.
It'd be funny if you were like, "No, I'm robot Brandon."
Yeah. This is my alter ego. He's much nicer.
This is like when somebody asks to speak to the manager and you say, I am the manager.
Yeah.
But and Kristen, you also have answer bots. How is your system, or how are your answer bots far superior to that of someone like Brandon who decided to
Our
do it
answer
himself?
bots are actually Steph and Cassie.
They are now? Is this true? This has happened?
It's a side hustle.
That's how we're funding.
In a way it is, right? So we take the entire universe of customer conversations that come through our platform and build a model based on that helps the bots then respond. And so over time, as Cassie and Steph help more and more customers as the actual humans they are, the bot behind is going to learn and one day take over some of that easily repeatable work.
That's scary. Even that was scary
That was
terminology.
scary?
One day the bot will learn and take over. we don't want to go too far.
No sentience, yeah.
No sentience.
No.
Nothing like the lions at Taronga Zoo. Okay, so everybody's got a bad experience that they've had with a bot that doesn't understand something, and you end up just swearing at it and then having to call and you've just given up. You've just phoned them anyway, and you're on the phone for an hour or 2 hours or whatever. I mean, how are you moving that forward so this isn't happening? Because they are paying attention to the way human beings are. This is freaking me out. That just got really intense then, didn't it, guys? I think now I'm just worried that robots are going to take over. Go.
Yeah, no, I think that, the robots do help understand the sentiment. So if things are going well, keep going. But when things are not, right, like that's the important thing, to be able to pull that lever to bring help in and hand things off pretty seamlessly, so that you don't, or if somebody decides to call, right, you have a platform that says like, oh, hey, I picked up, you're the person who was just like yelling in all caps at the chatbot, like, it's okay, I'm here to help. And so like, as long as you can tie it all together, and make that sort of seamless experience, I think the customer will come along for you.
Yeah, you don't want anything passive aggressive like we used to have when Windows 98 first kicked off. I'm really showing my age here, but we used to, who here, has anyone, oh God, you're all young. All right, so, we had a drop-down paperclip that used to condescendingly just... that made me almost throw the computer out the window when that thing would drop down and just passive-aggressively just go, "Did you mean, you dickhead?" I hated that so much. Yeah. But I mean, starting up your own startup, obviously, it can't be easy. Brandon, what sort of hurdles did you come upon when you were...
Probably the initial funding of it, so dipping into my pockets as much as I could, being at university, but then, informally sitting down with my parents and pitching to them for a bit of coin. So, yeah, it started off very informal, not quite like chuck us a fitty, but it was something like that with, oh, by the way, this is what you're going to get. But, yeah, it kind of just got more formal over time and eventually got there. It was the whole time, you know which parent you have to win over. It's not both.
So you pitched to your parents?
Yeah, pitch to the rents and then,
and how do you go about pitching to your parents? Like, do you do it over a Sunday dinner or, is it in their house? You go to their house?
Yeah.
With a PowerPoint presentation?
Yep.
In the lounge room that you grew up in? There's photographs of you in Year 7 with your braces still on?
Yep.
And you're there, "Can I have some money, Dad?"
Yep.
How do you do that? How do you ensure that you're going to get it across the line and not have to mow his lawn for the next 10 years?
Yeah, it's not quite pocket money, is it? But yeah, you basically just crack a tantrum and storm off, and then
that always seems to work, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, it was funny because my brother was always there, and he was just like smiling and laughing like this, like in the corner. And Dad just had no idea what I was saying, and Mum's just like, "What's the return?" And getting into that. So, but yeah.
Bottom line, brass tacks, where's the cash?
Yeah. But yeah, no, it ended up in a little pitch deck that was so poorly designed. Should have used Canva. And then eventually just got it across. And I guess that's probably a common misconception with startups is there's kind of this perception that you have to drop everything you're doing, your studies and your job and everything. But I kind of just chipped away at the side, built up that confidence without really spending any money at all. And then you kind of just build up that data and that confidence. And then, next thing you know, it makes sense to take the leap.
And you'd never done anything like this before, right?
No, I've never been qualified for anything I've done in my life, to be quite frank. So I somehow became an accountant for a little period with no background because my mate's mum wanted some finance help and I liked numbers. So, yeah, all sorts of things.
And, I mean, did it work the first time you built it, you created it?
Yeah, it worked, but it was basically,
I don't believe you.
Yeah, I don't believe me either. It was just a lot of promised functionality and then absolute chaos in the background. So yeah, white gloving a lot of it. But yeah, definitely a lot of learnings, like straight in the deep end, and yeah, learnt a lot very quickly about what not to do.
Okay. And how about you two? Did you guys have to go to your parents as well, or how did you guys fund it?
Not my parents. I thought about driving Uber for a while
Uber?
and just having like a big butter sign on the back of the seats to advertise it. Didn't work out.
That is a good idea, though. Like if somebody does drop their phone in the Uber, you can go,
"Yeah, you're like, I have a
that,
solution for you." Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Or while they're out or while they're drunk. Bad side is they throw up in your car, probably. But no, we just started with a hot pink Canva deck.
What?
And a dream.
Hang on, what was that? Hot pink.
Hot pink Canva deck.
What is that? That sounds like an OnlyFans.
Whatever pays the payroll.
That would definitely fund it, right? What did you do?
No, a Canva deck, like a
Oh,
presentation.
Canva. It's a design.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And you put that deck together. What am I doing here?
Same.
I don't know half of the vernacular that was coming out of your guys' faces. You are so angry. It's okay. This customer feedback is appalling. There we go. She's smiling now. Everything's fine. Okay. So you got the deck together. And so who were you pitching to then to get this up and running?
Anyone that would listen. To
Anyone that would listen. A couple of friends, a couple of generous friends, and then some VCs. Some of whom are in the room. Thanks for saying no.
Salty.
We are going to lock the doors now, guys. And just make sure everybody does sign up to Butter before we leave. Kristen, how about you? I mean, this was a different time 15 years ago. How do you get the funding up for something like this, which was, it hadn't really been done before. This was new territory. How do you go about ensuring that, I guess, making people feel safe that this is a reliable thing to invest in, and how do you get it out there too to the people to make it known that it is also reliable?
Yeah. So our founders at the time were living in Copenhagen, and this was 15 years ago, right? Nobody was investing in Europe, so they hopped on a plane and flew overseas. First of all, showed their faces and said, we're here and we've actually built a product. But more importantly, it was actually the customers that were using the product that helped them fundraise. So nobody really took, admittedly, the guys very seriously. But when they heard from, when the VCs heard from the other portfolio companies, the guys over at Uber or Pinterest said, "Oh yeah, we're using this Zendesk thing, and it's pretty cool." That was the thing that really helped us raise money and then ultimately move the entire company, not just the founders over.
Nice,
Yeah.
Nice, very good. You didn't have to do a hot pink Canva deck?
Unfortunately, hot pink Canva deck wasn't an option back then.
What a
No.
shame.
No.
Yeah.
So I think it was just a hot pink deck.
It's just a hot pink deck.
Yeah.
That sounds hot. And also, if you're from New Zealand, it would mean a different thing. So, Cass, too filthy for the afternoon? All right, fair enough. Cass and Steph, obviously your own experiences were the catalyst for creating Butter. What have you taken away then from these experiences to better your own customer experience?
I think we're trying to make sure there's no unexpected hurdles in the customer experience, so no war stories that they can take to the pub on a Friday night and tell their friends, which, we accumulated plenty from different kind of experiences or touch points with insurance. I had a vacuum, for instance, that essentially allowed me to discover a way to break the COVID rules legally.
Tell us more.
It's a great story, not really, but I had a vacuum, had to make a warranty claim, called the service centre. It was pretty mundane stuff, and they said, "No worries, we're going to take care of you. Just drop your vacuum to this place in the middle of nowhere, 50 kilometres away." The only hurdle was it was locked down. If you went more than 5 kilometres from your house, you were breaking the law. And this lady on the phone proceeded to spend about 10 minutes convincing me that it was a legal exception to the rules and that the government was all okay with it. If the police pull you over, just tell them and it will all be fine. So to this day, the vacuum's still broken.
Isn't that a wonderful thing to know now in hindsight, that all we needed was a busted Dyson to get out of a 5K radius? Like, it would have been nice to know that then. Just sort of, I wouldn't mind going over the bridge today and just getting off with the old
chuck it in the car
busted
and away you
Hoover
go.
and off you go. That's crazy. What's the response been so far from users? Anyone?
So the punchline of this entire session is that we don't have any customers yet.
Boom. So we are literally locking the doors.
Yeah. You're all in.
Okay.
We're launching very soon in December, so just in time for you to ensure all your Christmas goodies. So
Oh, good. That was
keep an
great.
eye out. Keep an eye out. Yeah.
Just before December, you're going to be launching Butter. There you go, guys.
Yes.
There
You
Heard
in?
it here
I'm in.
first.
Let's
Yeah,
do this.
Yep.
Brendan, how about you? What's the response been from your users so far?
Yeah, phenomenal. Just more time in the diaries, really. Like a lot of venue managers, there's one thing they don't have, it's time, especially with all the staffing, the rostering, the stock taking, everything. So yeah, just saving an immense amount of time on the scheduling, the bookings, and then having a technology partner to make it a successful event. Really like bring a crowd, and then just take all the headaches away from payments as well. So yeah, a whole combo of things.
Nice, very good. Well, guys, that's pretty much brought us to the end of the session. We don't even have time for questions. I mean, if anyone's got a question, we may be able to do it. But I know that you're probably all just itching to get yourself a mojito or something. Is that right? Yep. Good chat. So I think that went well. That was quite nice. It was informed. Did you enjoy yourselves, everybody? We hope you did. Thank you so much for coming out for this. Big round of applause for our panellists. And thanks also to Zendesk for helping make this happen. We're going to throw over to you, Kristen, just to wrap things up.
Awesome, great. Thanks,
Beautiful.
Cam. And
Thank you.
thanks to all of you. This has been fantastic. I think that what this panel shows that for every horrible, cringe-worthy customer experience out there, there's an idea in the waiting for an entrepreneur. And the good and the bad, this is what we do. And when we build our product experience and when we build our customer experience is really to try to weave all of these things together. But it's hard, right? Customer expectations are higher than ever. We all somehow became less patient, more easily aggravated, and wanting everything on our terms, especially over the last 2 years. And so, for us at startups, that means the bar is even higher. But on the positive side, customers are willing to pay more. They'll pay 90% more if you personalize their customer experience, and they say that they'll pay something like in Australia 84% more if they don't have to talk to you at all. So this is good news, right? There's some upside there, and I think that what we've seen over time is that really companies that are able to meet these expectations to create incredible customer experiences, these are the things that drive retention. With retained customers, you can grow them, you can expand them, and ultimately you can reach startup nirvana of a beautiful LTV to CAC ratio. But anyway, we at Zendesk, we're all focused on customer service. I'm here today on this panel and in Australia because at Zendesk, and in particular with our Zendesk for Startup program, we want to help make support and service easy for all of you. So we give away our software for free to startups initially to get you over that hump. And then also we have just a great set of experts in-house as well as community of founders, as CX leaders to help you along that path. So would love to work with all of you. Have the pleasure of working with some of you already. And would love to see what we can build together. So please just come find me. Check us out at zendesk.com/startups. And thanks again, everyone, for being here and for joining us. And now I think we get to drink.
You get to drink, everybody. Big round of applause once more for our wonderful panelists, Kristen, Steph, Cassie, Brandon. Have a lovely afternoon, guys. See you later.